Well, Buffalo Sabres fans are going to have to wait just a little bit longer to see their first overall pick, Owen Power, play for the Sabres, as he will be returning for his sophomore season at Michigan. Before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe, and now let's get to it. So, the soon-to-be 19-year-old in November will be the only first overall pick since 2006 to not jump up to the NHL since defenseman Erik Johnson stayed at the University of Minnesota rather than playing for the St. Louis Blues. It's frustrating, I'm sure, for Sabres fans, but let's talk about why this might not be a bad thing. So, the Sabres aren't very good, and I think we all know that. I've said before, I don't have a problem with the Sabres or their fans. I want the Sabres to do well, but at the moment they're just not in a spot to compete, and they traded away talent to potentially have a better future. And they are focused on the future. Why throw, power into the fire? This is probably going to be a really rough year for them, and he should probably stay at college because this team might stabilize just a little bit if he played for them next year. Buffalo is actually tied for the worst odds in the NHL to win the Stanley Cup this year at 0.5%. I guess anything can happen, but I wouldn't bet on it, which only further illustrates the reasoning behind this that Owen should stay at the U of M. The second reason is the Jack Eichel drama. I'm starting to think that Jack Eichel never will get traded, but it will happen eventually. We'll have to get there someday. But until then, it is really awkward. I know that I wouldn't want my first overall pick mixed up with all this stuff. I know that you have to be professional and not let things bother you. But if you throw somebody that is 18 years old into this locker room, you get a guy that's disgruntled with the franchise. And I don't know, some say that he's held face pretty well. Other people don't like the fact that he's doing things on Twitter. But you just don't want to be throwing the rookie, I say kid, but he is a young man. You don't want to be throwing him out there with all this stuff going on. Personally, I think that they should trade Eichel before they bring Power in, regardless of how that happens. So that way you get a little bit of the drama and the lack of stability out of the building before Power comes in. Thirdly, Power could just really use another year to develop mentally and physically. Power is 6'6", 195 centimeters, and 214 pounds, 97, I believe, kilograms. So adding a little bit more of that man strength by adding muscle wouldn't be a bad thing. Remember, he's 18, still growing into his body. That is fine, obviously. You're not fully developed at 18 most of the time, so he could grow a little bit. But think about the fact that he averaged 0.62 points per game last season with the Wolverines as a defenseman. And I believe that he will probably be more of an offensive defenseman anyway in his career, especially to start his career. So a player developing their offensive game, getting a little bit bigger, being able to handle play along the boards, things like that will be good for him because it's harder to develop your offensive game than your defensive game. Defense, obviously, there is talent there, but it can be chalked up a lot of times to positioning, schemes, and all that, where sometimes offensive skill is just you have it or you don't. But at Michigan, he'll be surrounded with guys that not only are capable of coaching, but have the talent that compared to their peers. So he'll be able to adjust and learn more in the game and not have to be swarmed, I guess you could say. And finally, the last topic, which isn't even about Power, but him not being there allows Buffalo to see some other guys and see what they have to work with. The primary player I'm talking about here is Will Butcher, who played with the Devils and is a young-ish defenseman that Buffalo should try to keep in my eyes. He's currently listed as being on the third blue line pairing, and while I'm not sold there, that things will work out for him in Buffalo just because I don't know how it'll pair up and all that. I think that he is a good player, and Buffalo should try to keep him. Keep in mind, Power comes in there, Butcher, Dahlin, all on that left side. Things could be really good for them for the future, and we'll have to see how that works out. But here are my reasons where, I think that he should stay at college and why it works out. Now, what do you think? Do you think it was a good idea that he decided to go back to college? Let me know down below. It seems like he was leaning that way already anyway, and hopefully it pays off. Anyway, please make sure to like and subscribe. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. You go love hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.